2018 is almost here and you know what that means. Yes, it is time to come up with your list of resolutions for next year. But before we wipe the slate clean, it is always useful to look at what happened before. While it's hard to call 2017 a complete dumpster fire, it wasn't a great year overall. On the plus side, we managed to survive a year of a Trump presidency without descending into complete nuclear war. It was also the year where we really felt the cost of living go up. We either cheered or booed the rise of Bitcoin, and where every news conference made us think the PM was going to announce the election. But that is not really useful. What is useful is taking stock of the lessons we have learned this year. But have we? I'm not talking about the gym membership that you sign up in the beginning of the year and swore that you would go 5 days a week, but end up having nasi lemak next door. I'm talking about the real-life incidents that actually by rights we should have been able to avoid. There are really too many, but I'm sticking to 3, and the first is: flooding has become an almost yearly occurrence for Malaysia, especially on the East Coast. In 2014, about 237,000 people got displaced, and 21 were killed in the East Coast due to a massive flood. And last month, Penang saw its worst floods in history, which took 7 lives and 1.04 billion ringgit in economic damage. While extreme weather was a part of it, but bad city planning also plays a major part. In the case of Penang, MCA Religious Harmony Bureau Secretary Chris Daniel Wong said that bad city planning has contributed to landslide occurrence. Aside from Penang, all the other states have that problem as well. We actually do have a Town Planners Act, but due to red tape or other issues, it never seems to push through. Take a look at KL City Plan 2020 that still hasn't been gazetted after being on display for 12 years. In the meantime, we have to deal with bad traffic jam, flash floods and developments popping up where we don't want them. Proper planning may at least make sure that floods, no matter in which part of Malaysia, will not be a yearly issue, and at the very least, have a system in place to deal with so none of us are caught stuck in our houses with water up to our waist. As a Malaysian, it almost pains me to say this, but yes, Singapore is a great example for good city planning. It's not perfect, but at least there is a plan, and not a series of ad hoc decisions. Now more than ever, we see where that gets us. This year in September, we saw the expose of a financial scam called JJ Poor to Rich or JJPTR, where investors were cheated out of more than 500 million ringgit. And we are surprised. Why? Financial scams have always existed, and yet we keep falling for them. Why is that? Is it just due to poor financial literacy or sheer desperation that there must be an easier way to do this? Either are easier to admit than just outright greed for sure. But if you want proof at how greed overweighs common sense, look at what JJPTR was offering, a 20% monthly return. In contrast, EPF returns were 5.7% last year. This just sounds downright flawed. And anyone who falls for this kind of schemes should really slap themselves. JJPTR is one of the many examples. According to some estimates, there are as many as 400 such schemes in Malaysia. They come up with names like hedge fund trading, forex investment, or even high-yield investment program. Something that sounds fancy, but in reality, it's just a Ponzi scheme in different clothes. So, what to do in that instance? Well, the most basic thing is to do some due diligence before diving in. Call them and question them about the places they invest. If they say they operate in other countries, do a background check. And above all, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. The third one is this: stop wasting your time on little issues that frankly don't matter. There is no question that fake news has been a big problem that everyone is trying to combat. And with GE14 coming up, it's something to be particularly conscious about, especially on social media where we share without thinking of the consequences. In some cases, we are spending so much time being angry or calling boycotts on things that are untrue. Just recently, a Malaysian party called for a boycott of products linked to Israel, their unhappiness sparked by Trump recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. In their anger, they brought up an old conspiracy theory that McDonald's had made contributions to the Jewish United Fund, which is untrue. Asmil Jafar, the managing director, has denied the involvement. It's being angry over rubbish like this that takes away focus from the real issues at hand. Remember, Trump made this announcement most thinking in part to divert attention away from the FBI investigating him over Russia. The trick is not only recognizing the smokescreen, but recognizing that in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. When you stop worrying about the small petty stuff, it allows the real structural problems to make the headlines and make people aware of it. Life would be much better when everyone's energies are channeled at the right place. Once you get past this, then you can hopefully be able to fix lesson 1 and 2. And that would definitely make a better 2018. Just saying.